She turns around and freezes. Her breath catches. The man standing before her is more than a memory, he's real. Ty Borden, the love she lost, the father of her child, the soul she thought she'd never see again. And in that breathtaking moment, the past and present collide in the most unexpected twist of Heartland history. Season 19 isn't just about healing anymore, it's about miracles. From the very first episode of Season 19, something feels different. There's a quiet tension in the air, a sense that the ground beneath Heartland Ranch is shifting. Amy, who has spent years rebuilding her life after Ty's death, begins to notice small things, strange moments that make her question everything. A familiar melody echoing from the barn late at night. Lindy mentioning dreams about her father that feel too real to be dreams. And then, the horses. They begin to react as if they sense someone's presence. Not just anyone's, Ty's. Amy tries to stay grounded. She tells herself it's just emotions resurfacing as she moves forward. After all, for the first time in years, she's allowed herself to feel something new. A quiet warmth blooming from a bond she never expected. A new man who doesn't try to replace Ty, but instead sees Amy for who she is now. Their connection is slow, respectful, built on friendship and mutual respect. But even as Amy tiptoes toward a future, the past keeps whispering. Jack notices it too. He's seen Amy through the darkest days of her grief, but now he watches her carefully. There's a look in her eyes he hasn't seen in a long time. Hope, tangled with confusion. Lou, always the voice of reason, urges Amy to talk about what she's feeling. But how do you explain something that doesn't make sense? How do you tell your family that you feel Ty's presence? Not just in memory, but in the here and now. Amy begins digging through old keepsakes, looking for comfort. She finds a box of Ty's journals tucked away in the attic, untouched for years. As she reads his words, something shifts. The entries are more than just memories. They feel like messages, as if Ty somehow is guiding her from beyond. The more she reads, the more real he becomes in her mind. Until one night, Amy wakes up from a vivid dream. Ty was there, not as a ghost, not as a vision, but as if he had never left. She brushes it off as imagination, grief playing tricks. But when Lindy draws a picture the next morning, one showing Ty standing with Amy at the ranch, Amy's heart skips a beat. Lindy says it was from her dream too, a shared dream or something more. Rumors start to swirl around Hudson. Locals claim they've seen someone who looks exactly like Ty, at the feed store, by the riverbank, even at Marion's memorial tree. Amy wants to believe, but she's afraid to fall into fantasy. She's afraid of what it might mean. For her sanity, for her healing, and for her future with the man who's slowly helping her open her heart again. Yet the signs keep coming. The horses become more restless, but only when Amy is near. Spartan, Ty's old horse, begins acting like he used to. Calm, yet alert. Like he's waiting for something. Or someone. Amy rides out to the ridge one evening, seeking clarity. The golden light of sunset spills across the hills, and the wind carries a stillness that feels sacred. As she dismounts and walks toward the edge, her eyes catch movement near the trees. A silhouette, tall, familiar, standing just beyond the shadows. She blinks. Gone. But in that moment, she knows. This season isn't just about letting go. It's about what happens when the past refuses to stay buried, when the heart dares to believe in something impossible. Season 19 has begun, and Amy's world is about to be turned upside down. Amy tries to brush it off. The figure in the trees, the shared dreams with Lindy, the strange way Spartan watches the horizon like he's waiting. She tells herself it's stress, maybe exhaustion, or the result of diving too deep into Ty's journals. But the feeling doesn't leave. In fact, it only grows stronger. Every sunrise at the ranch seems heavier with expectation. Every quiet evening feels like the edge of something she can't name. And though she keeps moving through her routines, working with horses, raising Lindy, helping Jack with the ranch, Amy can't shake the sense that something's coming. Or someone. Lou becomes concerned. She's always been the practical one, the planner. She tells Amy gently that maybe it's time to close Ty's journals, to stop chasing ghosts. But Amy isn't chasing anything. These signs, they're chasing her, and she's tired of pretending they're just imagination. So she begins to ask questions around town, quietly, carefully, and what she finds leaves her breathless. A ranch hand at a neighboring farm mentions a drifter, someone who came through just weeks ago, quiet, calm. Said he was looking for work but left without taking any. Looked a lot like Ty, the man says. Same eyes, same walk, just older, worn, like someone who had been through a storm and barely survived it. Amy's hands tremble when she hears this. She doesn't tell Lou or Jack. Not yet. Not until she's sure. But she drives out to the farm anyway, heart pounding with every mile. She stands in the same spot the drifter stood, trying to feel what he felt. Was he really here? Or is grief still playing its cruel games? Back at the ranch, Lindy continues to ask questions that cut deeper than she realizes. If Daddy came back, would we still live here? Do you think he misses us like we miss him? Amy answers gently, always with love, but each question feels like a door creaking open, letting in more light and more fear. And then something happens that Amy can't explain. Late one night, a storm rolls in. The power goes out. Rain lashes against the windows, and the barn creaks with the wind. Amy goes out to check on the horses, flashlight in hand. She whispers to Spartan, calming him, when a sudden gust throws the barn door open. In the flash of lightning, she sees him, Ty, soaked from the rain, hair longer, face older, eyes still holding that same warmth. He doesn't speak. Neither does she. They just stare at each other as thunder rolls over the hills. And then, he's gone. Like a breath. Like a dream. Amy falls to her knees in the straw, shaking. Was it real? Did she imagine it? The only thing she knows for sure is that Spartan saw him too, because the horse is still looking at the spot where he stood, ears forward, calm, waiting. The next day, Amy can't function. Her hands shake when she pours coffee. Her voice trembles when she speaks, and when Jack asks what's wrong, she finally breaks. She tells him everything. The dreams, the drifter, the figure in the barn. Jack doesn't tell her she's crazy. He just listens. Then he says something that both terrifies and comforts her. Amy, some things can't be explained. Doesn't mean they aren't real. Word spreads in town faster than Amy would like. Suddenly people are whispering. Some say she's seeing things because she can't let go. Others claim they've seen Ty too. A woman at the diner says she saw him hitchhiking near the Old Mill Road. A teenager swears he helped a man with a flat tire who looked just like Ty, but when he turned to thank him, the man had disappeared. Amy finds herself caught between fear and faith. Logic tells her this can't be. Ty died. She buried him. She mourned him. But her heart is screaming something else. And when the heart and the mind collide, nothing is simple anymore. She returns to the journals, searching for something she might have missed. And then, there it is. One line in Ty's handwriting, dated just weeks before his death. If anything ever happens to me, don't stop looking for the truth. Sometimes the truth doesn't die. It just hides. Amy reads that sentence over and over. Is this what he meant? Is there a truth she hasn't uncovered? Something deeper behind his death? Was there a mistake? A cover-up? Or is it something even more mysterious? Something that defies reason? Season 19 dares to ask the question fans have held in their hearts for years. What if the story didn't end the way we thought? And if that's true, what happens next? The morning after the storm, Amy can't shake the vision of Ty in the barn. Her mind replays the image over and over, his soaked figure standing still, eyes locked on hers like time had stopped just for that moment. She keeps telling herself it was a dream, a trick of the lightning, a product of grief, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels real, too real. And then, another message arrives. This time, it's not a vision or a whisper from someone in town. It's a letter. No return address. Just her name on the envelope, written in handwriting she hasn't seen in years, but would recognize anywhere. Ty's. Her hands shake as she opens it. Inside is a single sheet of paper, folded carefully. The note is brief, only a few lines. I'm sorry. I didn't want to leave, but I had to. You and Lindy were never safe. I couldn't put you in danger, But I'm close, closer than you think. When it's finally over, I'll come back. T. Amy reads it 12 times, 100 times. Her heart won't stop pounding. It's impossible. Ty is gone. The funeral, the grave, everything. Yet here it is. His handwriting, his words, his promise. She shows it to Jack first. He stares at it for a long time, his jaw tight, his eyes unreadable. Then he folds the letter and puts it back in the envelope. Someone's playing a cruel joke, Lou says when she sees it. Ty died, Amy. We were all there. Don't let this reopen old wounds. But Amy doesn't believe it's a joke. She knows Ty. She knows his heart. If this is real, if there's even a tiny chance, then something bigger is happening beneath the surface. Something no one ever saw coming. She begins to investigate not just Ty's final days, but everything that happened before. His last trips, his calls, his behavior in the weeks leading up to his supposed death. And that's when the cracks begin to show. Small inconsistencies, a file missing from the clinic records, a police report that never made it to the press, a conversation Ty had with a wildlife agent about illegal animal trafficking, something he was deeply involved in investigating before he died. Amy starts to build a theory, terrifying and unbelievable. Ty didn't die in a random accident. He was targeted. And to protect Amy and Lindy, he disappeared. Suddenly, it all makes sense. The secrecy, the distance, the dreams, the sightings, the drifter, the letter. Ty is alive, but he's in hiding, and someone dangerous is still out there. One evening, Amy finds Lindy outside, talking to someone beyond the fence. Her heart skips. She rushes out, only to find Lindy alone, holding a small carved wooden horse in her hand. "Where did you get that?" Amy asks. "A man gave it to me," Lindy says. "He had kind eyes. He said you'd understand." Amy's breath catches. It's Ty's carving style. He used to make wooden horses just like this when they were first dating. Her knees nearly buckle as she holds the tiny gift in her palm. That night, Amy can't sleep. Her heart is at war with her mind. She wants to believe, but doubt keeps creeping in. Is this real? Or is she slowly losing herself to hope? The next morning, she finds another letter, this time tucked under the saddle in the barn. "They're watching. Be careful who you trust. But don't give up. I'm coming soon." Amy's world spins. Who's watching? What is Ty involved in? And why has he stayed hidden all these years if he's been so close? The tension builds at Heartland as Amy becomes more guarded. She limits her contact with outsiders. She starts locking the barn at night. She even installs a camera by the front gate. Jack supports her silently. Lou remains skeptical but doesn't push. And Lindy, she seems to sense everything. Her drawings start to change, no longer just of horses and the ranch, but of a man with a beard standing near the river, always watching. Then, a breakthrough. Caleb, who's been traveling through nearby provinces for rodeo work, calls Amy. He thinks he saw Ty. Not a look-alike, not a maybe, he's sure. "I called his name," Caleb says. He turned around. We locked eyes. It was him, Amy, but before I could reach him, he disappeared. Amy hangs up and breaks down in tears. The weight, the confusion, the longing, it all comes crashing down. But beneath the fear, there's something else now. Certainty. Ty is alive, and he's trying to find his way home. But the question remains, what is he running from? And how close is that danger to reaching Heartland? A quiet wind blows through Heartland. The leaves have started to turn gold. The air carries that familiar scent of fall, of change, of something just around the corner. Amy stands on the porch, her eyes scanning the horizon like she has every day for weeks. She holds Ty's letters close to her chest, worn from being read again and again. They've become her anchor and her torment. "He's close," he says. But where is he? That night, another dream visits her. She's back in the barn. It's silent except for the creaking wood and distant howl of a wolf. Ty is there again, but this time he speaks. "I never stopped loving you, Amy. I'm sorry for all the pain. I'll explain everything soon." Amy wakes up gasping, not in fear, but with a strange peace settling over her. Something feels different this time. Not like a dream, but a memory forming in advance. And then it happens. Not with a bang, not with a thunderclap, but with the simplest of sounds. The gate creaking open. Amy hears it while brushing one of the horses in the yard. She freezes. Her breath halts. Slowly, she walks to the edge of the fence, heart hammering. There, beyond the haze of dust kicked up by the wind, stands a silhouette. Tall, familiar, and then the figure steps forward. Ty, his eyes meet hers. Tired, weathered, haunted, but unmistakably his. The moment feels suspended in time. Amy's feet move on their own. She walks, then runs, tears pouring, breath shaking, straight into his arms. Ty holds her tight, like he'll never let go again. Neither of them speaks at first. Words aren't strong enough for what they feel. It's in the way Amy buries her face into his chest, the way Ty's hand trembles as he strokes her hair, the way they both silently weep, grief, love, relief, and disbelief all tangled together. Finally, Ty whispers, "I'm sorry it took so long." Amy pulls back just enough to look at him. "Why? Why did you disappear?" And then the truth pours out like a flood. Ty had uncovered something dangerous while volunteering with a wildlife investigation, a smuggling ring. Powerful, international, and ruthless. When he got too close, they made threats. Against Amy, Lindy, the entire Heartland family. He had no choice. Faking his death was the only way to keep them safe. The authorities helped him disappear and work undercover. Every day since, he's lived with the guilt, the isolation, the silence, watching from afar, praying for the day he could return without putting anyone at risk. Amy listens, stunned, heart torn between anger and love. She wants to scream. She wants to kiss him. She wants to ask why he didn't trust her. But all she does is hold his face and say, "You came back." That's all that matters now. As they walk into the house, the family is in shock. Jack stares, eyes wide. Lou drops her coffee. Lisa gasps. Lindy, standing on the stairs, doesn't move for a moment. Then she breaks into a run and throws herself into her father's arms. "Daddy?" she whispers. Ty nods, tears falling freely. "Yeah, baby. Daddy's home." That night, Heartland feels alive in a way it hasn't in years. The fire crackles in the hearth. Laughter bubbles through the house, mixed with tears and disbelief. Ty sits at the table, holding Lindy's hand in one and Amy's in the other. It's not a dream. It's real. But the story isn't over. Ty's return doesn't erase the pain. It doesn't undo the years Amy spent grieving, the birthdays missed, the milestones lost. There's healing still to come. Conversations still to have. But for the first time in a long time, there's a beginning instead of an ending. Amy looks at Ty as he tucks Lindy into bed and whispers a promise in her ear. She sees the man she loved, changed but not broken, wiser, stronger, and still hers. Later, alone under the stars, they sit on the porch. Amy asks the question that's haunted her since the day she buried an empty casket. "Why didn't you tell me?" Ty looks up at the night sky before answering. "Because I knew if I heard your voice, I'd never be able to walk away." Amy nods, her heart full of ache and love. She leans into him, and together they watch the horizon, not with fear this time, but with hope. Heartland Season 19 doesn't just bring Ty back, it brings something even more powerful. The idea that even after the darkest night, love can find its way home. That some reunions are worth every second of the wait. And that healing, real healing, sometimes begins the moment you realize the heart never truly lets go. So, what did you feel watching Amy and Ty's journey unfold? Was this the reunion you were hoping for all along? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications. We'll see you in the next one.